everyone. Sophia is my guest from Hawaii tonight. And let me just formally introduce her. Sophia works with compassionate leaders, rebel entrepreneurs, and extraordinary, capable creatives who are committed to heart-centered leadership. And oh, I'm so excited about this conversation. Sophia helps her clients share their message to create transformative, action-based, positive impact in the world. Hi, Larry. Nice to see you tonight. Sophia, what an incredible mission you're on, and what an incredible time this is to really be helping leaders in this world. I am so excited to have this conversation with you tonight. Welcome, welcome.
Well, thank you, Lynn. And I can't quite tell who is with your tribe tonight, but I am thrilled to meet you all and be here and talk together. So thank you for this opportunity, Lynn. It's very exciting.
Yeah, well, these are the messages that are so important to be sharing at this time. And when I have an opportunity to connect with enlightened, wise people, I love sharing our knowledge out into the world in a much broader sense. And, you know, love it or hate it, this is one of the wonderful things about Facebook, is that we can share important messages like this today.
It's very true. I don't know how wise I am, but we'll do our best today.
Sophia, the first question I want to ask you is, I'd love to know a little bit more about your work and how you actually got started working with leaders.
Yeah, so how did I get started? Long story very short. I came from a very academic background, and basically lots of great education, great culture, big gift. But essentially, the way I was raised, we were like heads, and our bodies and emotions just carried these heads around. And so I became very interested who are really making a difference. It's not just the academica. And after my own university, I dove into the human potential movement, and leaders took me in. It's like, you know how that saying, you stand on the shoulders of giants. Oh my God, I came in as this invisible, shy person, and I myself was lifted up and realized the rebel in me and the rebel in others, and yeah, the academic brain, but the wild heart, right? And that's what got me started, is the wild heart.
Oh,
yeah,
boy,
and how it's like what you said, the world needs it. Yeah. So just to add to that, the Shoulders of Giants, I had the great privilege to work for 7-8 years at the Fintorn Foundation in Northern Scotland. For those of you who might be familiar with that, I think you are, Lynn.
I am.
And that was a real gift. And from there, 2 years in California at the Esalen Institute in Big Sur. So I was really carried. And
one of my very favorite places on this planet.
Big Sur, Esalen.
Esalen. Yeah, just such a very, very special, special place, and a place where, you know, it's about learning. It's about learning about yourself and about your own self-growth. And so that's a wonderful experience.
Yeah, and so what I realized, I think it was Stephen Covey who said, we are not human beings on a spiritual journey, but spiritual beings on a human journey. And I realized you can take any big corporation, any big business, and they don't talk about spirituality or heart or love, but they're made up of human beings who, hell yes, it matters to them. And if you just
Yeah.
pry it apart and you get to the human being inside the business, um, it's awesome what you can do then.
That's incredible. You know, I came out of my background is working in Silicon Valley with a lot of really, really bright people. Hi, Chris. Nice to see you watching today. Um, and, you know, we were all striving to do our very best. We were all working very, very hard. And we all were human beings. But at the same time, that sometimes got a little disconnected, especially when there was product launches or those kinds of things. And, you know, there were definitely some amazing leaders in that bunch. And then there were off, you know, there were also those people who just didn't really understand what it was to be a leader. They were coming out of
Right,
their huge academic brains as well.
right,
So
right.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense what you're saying. Um, why did you, so you got to stand on the shoulders of giants. Why was it that you got so drawn to actually helping leaders be better leaders, be transformational leaders? Well, maybe we should back up and maybe I should ask you, what in your definition is a transformational leader?
Yeah, a transcendent leader who does transformative work. A transcendent leader, for me, what I mean by that, and it's a really good and important question, is someone who can see not just a bigger vision for their business and hold that and convey that and scale their own strengths to others, but even a bigger vision for what are we all here for? And how can I build that sense of possibility, potential, vision in those I work with for a better planet? And can I trust that the day to day profit line, the stakeholders, that everybody actually is right online and benefits on all levels? But the transcendent leader has that bigger vision always in front, and the rest slips in.
Oh man, that just hit me so hard. You know, it's always having the vision for that best sense of all of our interactions with ourselves, with our planet, with all of that. And wow, I really admire that, Sophia. That is, you know, keeping that big picture always in your view is really hard.
Yeah, it is hard until it becomes easy. I want to make
Well,
that clear. It's hard.
would you say it's like a muscle? Like I use this analogy a lot, you know, it's
Yeah,
the muscle that needs
yeah.
to get practiced and then it
It's the
becomes,
muscle. Yeah,
yeah, I love
and then it
that.
becomes a self-perpetuating, self-reinforcing, self-nurturing, self-regulating cycle. I call it moving into the direction of freedom. And what I mean by that, and so my work with leaders is moving into the direction of freedom. And what I mean by that is that conventionally, um, we move into the direction of controlling the strategy, controlling belief systems, controlling the culture, controlling thoughts, controlling ideas, controlling the vision, even. And instead, can I trust moving into the freedom of thoughts and vision and tap into that huge potential, right?
It's so true. You know, today is the full moon, and this
Yeah,
afternoon a full moon ritual with my tribe. And one of the things that I teach in intention setting is that we have to move out of the hidden fears, the things that are sabotaging us that we don't even know are sabotaging us. And that is it's resonating with what you're saying about the control, because at the end of the day, control is really about the fear and moving
Right.
into the freedom of trusting that people are going to step up and be their very best, because you're there to lead them and encourage them to do their very best. That is when we let go. That's when real healing happens, I think. You know, that's beautiful. Just so well said. Yes.
And the fear thing is you're right, and that's when we contract, right? That's where we contract and become smaller. And it happens to anybody as a leader, myself, but can I catch it? Dare I catch it? And dare I to catch that it's human to be afraid.
Yes.
It's human to acknowledge my fear as a leader, as an employee, as a team member, as a human being. And then can I transcend that fear? And can I move forward regardless? Because, yeah.
So what was it about leaders specifically that really turned you on? Was it
Yeah.
that, you had an opportunity to make a bigger impact on a wider, on an organizational level, which I could see as being something that would be really beneficial. But what was it that drew you to leaders and leadership? Hey, Amelia.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's also, you have really good questions. And it's also inner leadership. I want to be very clear. It begins with inner leadership. So you're a leader in your own life, right there. And you're a leader in your family. You're a leader for your friends. And I think with leadership, drawn to leadership, is it's time for all of us to own who we are. And that's a leader. It's like an owning who I am, connected to you, and creating that space, daring to embrace that space because I own who I am. That's when I can make a difference on this planet. And honestly, Lynn, the leaders of companies and organizations, absolutely, I so want to work with them as well, because you do the work with the full moon and you are involved with the nature, the art farm a lot. It's like it's the only way right now to be with the planet. And to me, we need to step up to that inner outer leadership and be responsible with this planet today. That's what it comes down to ultimately.
Thanks for saying that, that we are all leaders of our own life, because I think that's a really important statement. And I think there's a lot of people that forget that. They forget that they are their own best leader. They're always looking outwards for somebody else to lead them.
Yes.
This statement that you made right now, that we are our own internal leaders, we are the leaders of our life, is empowering. Once we can own that statement, that is so empowering.
Yes. Own that statement, own ourselves. It's like become, and it's like I love the word rebel, but become a rebel in your own life. The hell with it, right? I mean, it's like this is it.
This
Um,
is this is it right now, in this
yeah,
moment. This is the
yeah,
moment that we can count on, is right now.
and yeah, and yes.
So, Sophia, let me ask you, do you have any pro tips or exercises, just really quick off the top of your head, that you might
Yeah,
share with the audience today on how they can even, go back to work tomorrow and be a better leader, or take charge of being the leader of their life?
yeah, I have one really quick tip, and then a little longer, not long, but a little longer. A really quick tip that I do myself all the time and tell my clients is when you notice that little reaction in yourself, you know, whatever it is out there, take a deep breath and wish yourself ease. Just, I wish myself ease. And that instantly, wishing myself ease, shifts the channel. And anyone can do that.
But the key, I think, is realizing it.
Yes, that catching. That
And
catching.
that's
And
again that muscle memory.
yes, yes, yeah,
It's, oh, there it is again. Because
yes,
so often those
ease.
behaviors, those reactions, they're subconscious. They're just
Yes,
become such a part of us. So yeah, whenever you have the judgment, whenever you have the reaction, whenever you have the emotion that comes up, that's a good way of remembering if you're being triggered or not.
yes,
And then to be
yes.
able to say, I wish myself ease.
Yeah,
Love it.
and
Love
instantly,
it.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know if your tribe would like to have another little exercise I love to do.
Oh, please share. Yes.
Yeah, and it's because the other thing with that is leaders in our own lives especially, we have forgotten how to dream really big. And one thing, you know, it's a time that it's easy to get cynical. And I don't know about you where you are, but yeah, it's you know, fair enough. Um, and so I really help people to dream bigger than they've ever dreamt before, then take smaller steps than you've ever taken. Um,
Mm.
right? And then one of the
Yes.
things, yes, and then one of the things I say, okay, each day, each day, can I work with that dream in one small way? And that's the 5 C's, what I call the 5 C's. And that's each day, can I have some curiosity about my big dream? Bring my attention to my big dream, even for a minute. And then the second C, with that curiosity, can I allow some clarity for my big dream? And can that clarity, and you use that, can that clarity for now shape an intention? Just one intention that moves me forward with that big dream. And from that clarity, can I create? Can I come up with one small action step to move my dream forward? You know, it could be as little as a little bit of research, or one idea, or one sentence, or sharpen a pencil, or it could be longer, but one creative act in favor of my dream. And having done that, the fourth C is, can I now communicate with it? Can I look back and evaluate and go like, hey, what was great about this? What could I have done better? Where might this be going? Do I have to adjust my compass? Right? Because the big dream doesn't have a roadmap, but there is a compass with a true north.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then, yeah, and then the fifth C is, it's a combination. Can I connect with it and start over tomorrow? Can I celebrate what happened today? You know, connect, celebrate. That's the last step. So that I can show up tomorrow again feeling really good.
Oh, that's so good. So
It
we
helps.
are
Yeah.
being curious. We're being
Mm-hmm.
curious.
Yep.
Every day we're waking up and looking at our big dream, being curious. Then we're trying to find a little clarity within it,
Yeah.
create something, communicate with ourselves about it, and then connect and celebrate again. And you know, the celebration part, I think, is something that gets forgotten so often.
And
You know,
that's
it's
what
like,
keeps
oh,
us
we did
going,
it.
right?
Let's just move on to the next thing. Michelle says celebration so important. Hi, Michelle. Great to see you tonight.
Yeah, it's so important. It's so because that's what keeps us going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this is such a timely conversation because we're talking about leadership right now, and we're talking about both leadership in the corporate world and leadership within ourselves. And with the full moon today, this is what I was teaching in the intention setting that I was doing with my tribe, and that is to dream as big as you possibly can, and not only to
Yes.
dream it, but to see yourself moving through that manifestation of it
Yes.
already happening, because
Yes.
that's giving us those dopamines, those serotonins that are uplifting us and making us feel hopeful again. And so often when we're not celebrating our accomplishments and when we're not tapping into our clarity, we're feeling, and we're not taking those baby steps. Those also, I think, are the most important, powerful steps because they move us in a forward direction.
They are, and there is so much we can do in baby steps. And it's like it's that question, what is the smallest possible thing that I know I can do? It's plenty. We are so hard on ourselves, right? It, oh
Yeah.
my God. And to give ourselves that space, and what you say, coming from that dream, it's a space to come from. Yeah.
It really is. And it was really interesting today as we were talking about this in the ritual. One person said, well, is it okay to dream bigger than my means? Like, can I see something that's bigger than I know that I can have? Like, yes, of course. If you can see it and feel it and sense it and taste it, and if you can just think about one small little thing that you can take, little step you can take today that will just move you one little millimeter closer to having it, you know, that's where it really, that's where the rubber hits the road. That's where we make traction.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And does it give you joy doing that small thing, right? That's also it's not even about, I mean, it's beyond my means. Can I ever get it? No, come from that space as if you already have it, like you say, and then do the steps bring me joy.
Yeah, the joy
Um,
factor.
the joy factor, right? Is huge.
Yeah.
The process itself. It's yeah.
Sophia, let me ask you, what do you think is the biggest challenge that are facing leadership today as you work with these people, these rebel entrepreneurs, these highly creative people? What do you see as their biggest challenge that they're facing as they're trying to make a difference in this world?
Um, Not dreaming big enough is one. Um, then taking it step by step, the belief systems that hold us back, that you know a lot about. Um, there is an edge of cynicism, like I mentioned, but I think it's really I think the biggest challenge is the stories that each one of us tell ourselves. I don't even think there is one, okay, all the leaders are facing this big challenge. No, it's like it's a collective, individualized stories we tell ourselves. And they are the stories we pick up, right? These are the unquestioned ones. I mean, we are inundated by social media, by news, by like, do we question any of that? So the biggest challenge is maybe, what is my
No, but
truth?
we question ourselves constantly.
Yes, yes. And
That
so,
all is real. What's inside here
yes,
is
but can I
I'm
trust my
doubting it.
truth? Yes,
Yeah,
yes. How do
there's
you,
let's flip flop that. Let's start questioning what's out there and start
exactly,
trusting our own inner
exactly.
wisdom.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And to realize that just about 99.9% of what we tell ourselves is a story or idea from out there. It's like we don't experience reality. We experience through the thoughts and stories largely of others. Reference points can we come closer
Because
to what's true for us, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
I think it takes a lot of courage for the big dreamers out there to allow it to come forward because there's so much fear of judgment. There's so much fear of ridicule. There's so much fear of failure. And what are these? These are stories that we've been telling ourselves. And Michelle says, don't believe
don't
what you
believe what you
think.
think. It's so true. It's like, it's so, don't believe what you think. They're just thoughts. They're just thoughts, right? Um, they come and go. Most of them you forget a day later.
Is there any one suggestion that you would give to anyone who's really wanting to be a leader who is leading change in this world right now?
Yeah, I think one is dare to and learn to ask yourself better questions. Um, you ask questions, I'm sure, with your clients. I ask questions. And can we teach ourselves to ask our own important questions? And then, and then, dare we be able to respond? With that comes a responsibility, right? That responsibility word. I love that word, ability to respond.
Responsibility, the ability to have a response.
To the questions that I want to ask myself. And move
Yeah.
from there. Move from there. Move forward. Move forward. What comes with that is the other is, can I create rather than report? Can I act rather than hope? It's like we can report on what's wrong with the world. We can report on what's wrong with myself. Oh, I'm not good enough at this, or that's all messed up in politics, or whatever it is. That's reporting. But how can I create that flips that? That's another thing, which is a question, right? How can I create?
I think that's a really profound question, because I think so many of us feel paralyzed in what we can really do to make the world a better place. And so we take on the role of reporter. We can
Yeah,
tell you all the bad stuff that's happening,
yeah,
but where is it that, and it doesn't have to be monumental, right? It's just where can
no.
we create the change that we want to see in the world? And it can be just a small little change.
It can be so small. There's these movements of paying it forward. That is one way, but it's even as a leader for yourself, for others in your community, at work. When is the last time that you really looked at someone and saw them? I just see you as a human being, just like me. It makes a difference, right?
Yeah, it makes a really big difference.
Yeah.
That's, I would say that is such a huge suggestion for all the leaders out there who are leading teams, who are leading people is to see who you're leading. You're not leading employees, you're leading a human being, just like yourself. That is really profound. It's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and you know, and that's a big theme for me, right? It's we don't talk about it, I mentioned it at the beginning, but just bringing fierce love and fearless compassion in the workplace. And the word love in the workplace, I know, you know, but it's like, come on.
It's time, man. Time.
We can be pretty fearless with that love. Yeah.
Well, and with that love comes real teamwork, real
Yes,
connection,
absolutely. Real
real
connection. And
loyalty, real, people who will go the extra mile because
and
they feel it.
And I think there's enough scientific studies now that say when I am relaxed and at rest because I trust, I'm feeling that, that's when innovation and creativity and new ideas and motivation happen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, you
Wow.
know, there's this quote from George Saunders. I wrote it down. I don't know if your tribe is familiar with George Saunders. He's one of my favorite authors.
Okay.
But he wrote, people think of compassion as like kindness. The image with compassion comes to mind of some nice new age guy bending to something with a look on his face as if he's about to cry. And I don't think that's it. I think of it more as a quality of openness that comes with being in a state of unusual attentiveness. And I think that's what the leader can bring, that unusual state of openness and attentiveness. And that's compassion. That's that fierce love. I see you.
Oh, that's powerful. That is just so special. And if we can just make the time in that busy day just to be open and attentive,
Yeah.
that's really what our job is as leaders.
Yes.
Not to rush, rush, rush and get everything done, but to be
Yeah.
open and attentive. Beautiful, Sophia. So happy to have you sharing your wisdom with us on this today. Really such a fresh perspective.
Yeah. Thank you. And
It's really beautiful. If people want to get in touch with you, if we have leaders out there that are looking for some direction and how to step up and be the change, how can they get in touch with you?
yeah. Oh, thank you for asking that. And I don't even know. I'm not keeping track of time. I have no idea what time it is. I'm sure that you are doing that. Yeah. And so this is the inner leader for ourselves, the outer leader. My website, I don't know if you have a link to that, spacebeyondwords.com. And then, of course, I'm on LinkedIn. I am not very active on Facebook.
So
That may
LinkedIn is a
change.
good place for people to connect with
LinkedIn
you.
is an excellent place. My website, Space Beyond Words. And yeah, if people go to my website or LinkedIn and send me a quick message, I actually have a little ebook that's not available on my website. But if your tribe contacts me, it's an ebook about asking ourselves better questions and asking others better questions. The art of asking questions that I would love to share with your tribe.
That's great.
So
So
just
maybe
send me a
one
quick.
that would be I think people would be very interested in that. And what I might ask you to do is just once we finish, go ahead back into the comments here and put your website, your LinkedIn name, and then how they can get in touch with you for the ebook. Just a little comment, and then everybody will be able to see it over time.
Great. I
Yeah.
will be happy to do that. Yeah.
Oh, this has
Yeah.
been such a joy.
Well, and so you had your full moon ritual already, or are you going into that now? I'm
We
just
did
very
that
curious.
today around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The full moon was at its fullest this morning,
Right?
Eastern Standard Time. And today's full moon is, what we're talking about in terms of the five C's. The full moon is such a supportive energy for that, for
Yes.
finding that clarity, for
Yes.
going within ourselves to see what it is that is our big dream. The energy of
Yes.
the full moon is absolutely here to support us in doing that. Yeah.
Magical. Magic.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
do I do the ritual every month. It's really a lot of fun. And it's all
Uh,
around intention setting.
yes.
Setting
Yeah.
those intentions
Yeah.
to move us
Yeah.
through the baby steps.
And in fact, I love that you say that at the end of our conversation because ultimately, intentionality is all we have.
Mm.
Right? We can't force the outcome or anything, but we can choose intentionality. It's so
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah. And just like you said, it's an everyday practice. Just
Yeah.
to get up every day and ask ourselves those questions and see what it is that we can do to take the baby step forward.
Yes.
Love it, Sophia.
Yeah. Oh, Lynn. Yeah.
Good
This is
conversation.
awesome.
So, I just want to encourage everyone to use your networks because Sophia and I met on LinkedIn and
Right.
we just decided to have a conversation one day. And through that, we found so much synergy in our language and what we're helping our clients with. And so I just want to encourage all of you out there to take a moment and be open and ask questions and just take the time to know somebody because magic can happen, just like is happening right now with this beautiful interview. Yeah, thank you.
It's awesome. Magic. That is awesome. Exactly. And yeah, it was a delight to meet Lynn. I totally want to emphasize that as well. And we took the time to just connect, not face to face, but at least video face to face. And that's probably the highest use of social media at times, that take that time for that attention and intention and really meet someone.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you. No, this has been my pleasure tonight, and I'm just hoping people get a lot out of it. I did. So that's that's what I care about. Selfish. Well,
And
everyone, let's all thank Sophia for being here with us today and sharing her wisdom on leadership and creating change in the world. It's such an important topic. Hopefully,
and
we'll be able to talk to you more on this subject in the future.
oh, I would love that. I would love that. Love to hear more from you. And thank you, everybody who's on this call. And be in touch. I'll put something in the comment box. And Lynn, for making this possible for us. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. All right,
Yes.
everyone, have a beautiful full moon tonight. Go ahead and cast your intentions. Allow yourself to release what no longer serves you and just feel the energy here supporting you. It's a beautiful new beginning right now in this very moment. All right, everyone. Good night. Good night, Sophia.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Lynn.
Bye bye.